Peter Strout had lived his whole life near Hollow Creek, a thin ribbon of water cutting through the forest behind his small cabin. Locals said the woods were cursed, though no one could ever agree on why. Peter didn't believe in curses. He was a hunter, a man of reason. He'd spent his years tracking bears, coyotes, and mountain lions across those same woods. He knew the sounds of the forest better than anyone, until one night he heard something that didn't belong. It was low, guttural, almost human, but too deep to be a voice. It echoed through the trees, followed by the sound of something large moving fast. Peter aimed his flashlight into the darkness, his rifle steady, but the beam caught nothing. Still, the forest seemed to breathe around him, heavy and watchful. That night, he dreamed of rippling water and a shape rising from the creek, dripping, hungry and alive. At dawn, Peter set out to investigate. The forest was eerily silent, as though every creature had gone still. Down by the creek, he found the prints. Massive, deep impressions in the mud, shaped like claws, but too wide to belong to any animal he knew. Around them, fish carcasses lay scattered, torn open as if by blunt force rather than teeth. The air stank of copper and rot. He crouched low, running a finger along the print. The edges still glistened with moisture. Whatever made them had passed through recently. Something splashed upstream. Peter raised his rifle and followed the noise. The creek wound through thick underbrush, and with each step, the smell worsened. Decay, mixed with something sour, almost chemical. Then he saw it. A mound of flesh, slick and moving. Not fur, not scales, but something like wet leather stretched too tight. It crouched at the water's edge, tearing into a deer carcass with thick, finger-like appendages that ended in cracked claws. Peter froze. The thing's head turned toward him, not fast but deliberate. It had no eyes, just a thin slit running across its face that pulsed as it breathed. And then it screamed. Peter fired once, twice. The bullets hit, but the creature barely reacted. It rose, its movements jerky but powerful, and lunged into the trees. He ran. Branches whipped his face, his boots slipping in the mud. Behind him, he heard it crashing through the forest, the sound of wood splintering and its strange, wet roar. He reached his truck and slammed the door, gasping. The forest edge was still. Then the truck rocked. Something enormous hit it from behind, denting the metal. Peter turned the ignition, the engine coughing to life. He sped off, gravel spraying behind him. In the rearview mirror, the trees seemed to close in, and for a moment, he swore he saw the thing standing upright at the creek's edge, tilting its head as if memorizing him. That night, he sat inside his cabin, rifle across his lap, every light on. He tried convincing himself it was just an injured animal, but the walls began to creak. The smell returned, metallic, wet, and from outside came the sound of something dragging itself across his porch. The door shuddered. Peter raised his rifle, every muscle tensed. Through the window he saw movement, a large, distorted shadow sliding past. He fired blindly, glass shattering. For a moment, silence. Then the roof groaned. He looked up just as claws tore through the ceiling. The creature dropped through the rafters like liquid muscle, its faceless head splitting open into 4 flaps that revealed a ring of grinding bone-white ridges. Peter stumbled backward, firing until the gun clicked empty. The thing struck him, knocking him into the wall. Its clawed hand pinned him by the throat. Up close, he saw the truth. The thing's skin wasn't skin at all. It was layers of decomposing tissue, human and animal fused together, constantly shifting as though trying to rebuild itself. It hissed, not with anger, but with hunger. Peter grabbed the hunting knife from his belt and drove it deep into the creature's side. A burst of black fluid splattered across the floor, hissing like acid. The creature convulsed, then retreated, melting through the cracks in the floorboards, vanishing into the earth below. When the sheriff arrived 2 days later, he found Peter's cabin in ruins. The front door hung from one hinge. The floor was slick with dark residue that burned through his boots when he stepped on it. No body was ever found. Just a trail of large, wet prints leading back toward the creek. A week later, Hollow Creek began to stink. The water turned black. Animals fled the forest. The sheriff sent a cleanup crew to drain the creek, but halfway through the process, One of the men vanished. The others swore they saw something move beneath the surface, something too large to be fish. The next morning, Peter's truck was found parked by the tree line. Muddy footprints circled it. And in the passenger seat, on a crumpled scrap of paper, scrawled in shaky handwriting, were 3 words: "It learned me." Thanks for watching. Is there anything you'd like to see in a short horror story? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe.